think it is so funny how wise and how witty children are. Like, I literally sit back sometimes and I look at my 5-year-old and I'm just in awe of how smart she is. But not just how smart she is, how well she problem solves, how well she articulates questions, and how knowledgeable she is about things that I didn't specifically teach her. I feel like my baby is so patient and kind, but more importantly, she's really empathetic. And like looking at her behavior, it makes me wonder going into adulthood, like where do we lose that part of ourselves? Like where do we stop being kind? Where do we stop being like empathetic for other people's situations? Like when do those things start to change? So I do want to ask like my fellow moms, like what has motherhood taught you along the way? So if you're watching this video right now, feel free to comment below so we can start an interaction. So that being said, thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of Mommy Monologues. Children are the best teachers. This episode is sponsored by Killer Cocktails, of course. And speaking of Killer Cocktails, just a shameless plug really quickly. I did just drop a new recipe book today. It is called The Classics, the Killer Cocktail Recipe Book, the Classics Edition. Nothing but 10 of the most classic cocktails with the Killer Cocktail twist, of course. $5. I'll make sure to put that link here as well. But yeah, for sure, if you're a drinker, if you like to drink in the house, or even if you have guests all the time and you just like to make drinks, you definitely would want this book. And I mean, $5 holly, like it's a book that you'll never lose because it's an ebook. So I would suggest you all go order that. So now let's get started for real. So I grew up in a quiet household for the most part. I didn't have much freedom, but I was spoiled. By the time I did get freedom, I was pretty much on my way outside the house, out of the house rather, to college. But I was always supported, but I didn't really have too much leeway to do the things that like my friends were doing or whatever may have you. I also didn't grow up in the most patient environment. So if you don't heal from certain things, you kind of carry that into adulthood. Then if you don't heal before you have children, you carry that into how you parent and everything. Not healing from those traumas, like that makes it difficult to navigate the emotions and the actions of a child. Because I mean, they're different. They're figuring out like everything for themselves as well. So that's why I deep dived into motherhood and realized like this is really a tool. Like if you sit back and just realize like that they're teaching you as well, it's a tool. I just learned to not act like I already knew what I was doing. Like it's my first time here. Like I never did this before. I've never been a mom before. So once I stopped acting like I just had it going on because it was a prideful thing. Like it was like I want to look like I got all my shit together because of the decision that I made to be a single mom. But nobody really has it all together in regards to parenthood. You can't really prepare for it. It's hard to navigate it regardless. Even if you got a kid, the second child is different. Like it just depends. So that's why I had to hone in and start learning from my child. So thinking about what I wanted to come across in this episode, I came up with the 4 things that I realized I've learned from her the most. And the first thing is patience. I should have saved this one for last, but it's really the first thing that came to my mind. Honestly, children are very smart, but they only know what they know, right? So they're so smart though, that the mistakes that they do make can sometimes have you like, how did you even do that? How did you even do that? Because they do so many smart things that they do this one thing and you'd be like, how you be doing this, but you would do that? Because that's children and that's what they do. My child has taught me to literally calm down and just speak, just like try to understand what happened and why, and let's problem solve and move forward. There's no need to be mad, upset, blah, 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 whatever may have you. Like just relax, treat the situation with kindness and respect because you're teaching them. Well, she taught me. I learned to communicate with her through her mistakes. So now when she makes a mistake, she feels comfortable coming to me. Like, it's not like, oh, I can't tell mommy that I did that. No, you can. And she knows that. The second thing is nurturing. I'm not going to say before my child that I wasn't a nurturer. I'll just say that I wasn't put in many situations where I had to be. So it was like, If I had to be cool, like, oh, if I was in a situation and I needed to, cook for someone or do something for someone or what, I would do it. But it's not a consistent and ongoing thing. But I have a physical touch child, and she wants to be up under me all the time. She thrives on me being her servant. She just wants to see me doing things for her. That's her way of knowing someone is showing up for her. She's super attached to me. Like, she's not gonna go without spending time with me. Like, she don't play, period. Like, she doesn't. And I think that that's because of how she's taught me how to nurture. Being her safe space, like, that's something that money can't buy. Like, it just can't. Even though she's only 5, like, sometimes talk about it like she's 10, but she's only 5, but still that doesn't matter. It's just like, she's independent, but she still finds a way to involve me. And I don't know, she's wise beyond her years, like, really, really wise beyond her years. Like, if you know my kids, then you know. Listening. Good God Almighty. Yeah, I was not a good listener. But the thing, my baby's very headstrong and she's very confident. So when she wants me to listen to her, like, she has no problem, like, expressing, like, I'm trying to say something right now, you're not paying attention, or like, you're talking over me, or like, not even in a disrespectful way, like, literally in a way that just makes me like, you're right. Like, let me be quiet. Let me let you get your thoughts out. Just because you're young, like, that doesn't mean that what you're saying doesn't have substance. What you're saying isn't facts. Like, none of that means anything. And I think that, like, I learned to actually hear and not respond or counter what she's saying, but actually just intake what she's saying and see if that means that I could change something to better our relationship. And last but not least, this is my favorite one, honestly. She connected me to my inner child, guys, okay? So I had a great childhood, but my parents are older. Like, my parents are literally, my dad's 75, my mom is 69, I'm 31. So they were already, like, seasoned, like, very seasoned and tired. So I hung with my mom a lot. We didn't do a lot of things. So when I got older and I was able to, like, I was making my own money and I became like a super hell-bent on traveling. Even though I did travel as a kid, but it was like to go see family. It wasn't like to go to Wisconsin Dells, or it wasn't like to go to Disney World or Disneyland or whatever. I didn't get that experience. So I started, like, doing the things that I could do that wouldn't look too childish as an adult. Oh, but when I had a kid, that was the excuse to do all the kiddie shit. Now I'm just doing anything. I'm jumping every damn week at the goddamn jumpy place. I'm like, I want to do everything. And I want to show her too, like, you can do whatever. Like, you can do whatever. Like, I'm not the richest in the world, but I had a good time as a child. And I want to give my kid more than I had. Everything I didn't have. Like, and that makes it super easy because she's connected me to that person that I kind of forgot. Because like I said, like, you lose a lot of you when you have to start taking care of responsibilities, bills, education. Like, it's not just life's don't be sweet no more. So I really enjoy that because she's really making me a better mom. She's making me a better woman. And like I said, she's reminding me of who I was back then. Like, and I don't know, like, I can't be more grateful for that. I'll say that. Realizing that she was just as much of a teacher as I was is probably the best thing that I've done in motherhood. So that being said, before I close out on this episode, I want to introduce Mommy's Mirror. If you watch the Terry Rosen podcast, then you know that at the end I always do Cam's Corner. So this is basically Cam's Corner, but for mommy monologues. It's just a reflection of the episode. See what I did there? Reflection, Mommy's Mirror, Yeah, okay. So yeah, that being said, Mommy's Mirror. So as a mom, it can be very hard to get caught up in our own shit and stuck in our own shit as well. You're figuring it out. You're navigating it. It's a whole new world. You're just trying to make it through the day, if we're being real. So much so that sometimes we forget to give our children the attention that, like, they're really yearning for. to be honest, because aside from like the other things that they want, toys, whatever, they really want our attention, plain and simple. If we pay attention though, we can see how much they can show us, how much they can teach us, how much they accept us. Like while we going so hard, thinking that they looking at us like you ain't doing what you're supposed to be. Those kids accept us, like love us for whatever we do. At least now at this stage that I'm speaking on. When they get to teenagers and all of that, I can't speak on that. But they look at us and they accept us. They see us doing our best. They see us trying. They see us pushing forward. And they love us. They don't have the whole world figured out either. They just got here. So as they're navigating, we can't be pushing them away from their learning experience, because at the end of the day, you only got so many times to shut a child down from something before they're completely shunned away from it, and probably won't revisit it again for who knows how long. So it's important to just talk to your child. Like I said, we lose it along the way. Maybe your child doesn't have to. I think it all depends on how we nurture our child, how we all the way through adulthood. Like it doesn't end when they turn 18, 21. It doesn't end when they start their own family. My mother still gives me some of the best advice ever. So it's just like, but that's because of the relationship that she built with me growing up into adulthood. So I just want to say it's possible. I see it daily. It's been no experience more rewarding than learning from my child while teaching her and learning about myself. Am I perfect? No. But you can't tell my baby that. And that's all that matters to me. So that's it. As you all know, I always say those who can relate, please tap in. And those who can't, please like, share, comment, and send it to someone who can. I appreciate you all for tuning in to episode 2 of Mommy Monologues. I'll see y'all next week. I gotta go be a mom.